So for those of you keeping track at home, so far I've picked Louisville to win at NC State tonight, and I got Oregon State winning against Utah, 3.5 point favorites, even though Utah is the higher rated team. But we also have another game in the Big 12, the Cincinnati Bearcats taking their act into Provo, Lavelle Edwards Stadium against the BYU Cougars. Both teams enter this game off of a loss. Both lost their Big 12 debuts. BYU lost in Lawrence at Kansas, 38-27. Couldn't stop the run. Cincinnati couldn't stop turning the ball over against Oklahoma. Lost 20-6. So the good news is they held Oklahoma to 20 points. The bad news is they only scored 6, obviously. But Emory Jones is the quarterback, transfer from Florida. He has Xavier Henderson, who was at Florida with him as a receiver. But the problem is that he can't hold on to the ball. 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. On the other side, Keaton Slovis. You remember him from USC, but he played at Pitt last year. So now he's at BYU, just moving all around. So BYU is going to be in this game possibly without 2 wide receivers. Cody Epps is still nursing a hamstring. Nursing a hamstring. He only played in 1 game this season so far, so they're used to playing without him. They're also going to be missing Ben Bywater, it sounds like, with a shoulder injury. He's a game time decision, it sounds like. He's their leading tackler right now with 32 tackles, so that would be a big, unfortunate loss. Cincinnati can gain yards. They just have trouble scoring. Now, I know the numbers say they average 30.8 points a game. So you would say, well, how do they struggle scoring? Because they're 107th in red zone percentage. So if they get into the red zone, they don't score very often down there. That's where these turnovers come in. On defense, they're 107th nationally against the red zone, trying to stop the opponent. So that shows you right there, if nothing else, they're consistent, right? BYU, on the other hand, is first in the nation, tied for first in the nation in red zone percentage, meaning that they get there and they score. So they've been 15 times. They've got 12 touchdowns and 3 field goals. So that out there, folks, 100%. BYU has shown what they're made of. They went on the road 2 weeks ago down into Fayetteville and beat the Arkansas Razorbacks of SEC fame. Cincinnati 2 weeks ago before the Oklahoma lost at home to Miami of Ohio. They do have a win against Pitt to their credit, though. So Cincinnati is an enigma. First year under Coach Scott Satterfield from Louisville. They're still trying to figure things out. Obviously, the altitude can be a factor up in Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Now, BYU cannot run the ball. 2.2 yards a carry on the season. Now, if you take away Caden Slotus's sacks, then it bumps up to 2.6, but obviously still not something to be bragging about. So the question is, can BYU run the ball? Can Cincinnati pass the ball, without turning it over? So those are your keys to the game right there. BYU is 75th against the run. So Cincinnati has an opportunity to take advantage of play action. Both teams, as I said, looking for their first Big 12 win. BYU has the continuity on the coaching staff. They're at home. It's Friday night. I like BYU, something along the lines of 23-20. Problem for BYU, though. Why I said 23-20? They're 62nd in the country in scoring. They're 109th in total yards. Worse than that, 115th on third down. So they have to keep drives alive. Those are going to be the keys to the game. Cincinnati is 77th against the pass. So this is an opportunity for Slovis to let loose. And let's see what the offense can come up with. So if I'm Cincinnati, run. BYU gave up 221 yards to Kansas last week. So what do I think is going to happen? BYU 23-20. I think BYU is going to use short passes to substitute for their run, sort of like what we see in Colorado, just not as quickly or in tempo. I think this is a tall task to ask Cincinnati to go on to the road and win this game. So give me BYU.